So I think what you do between game one and game two is you analyze all of the things that you can correct and all of the things that you expected to happen that didn't. And now you have to come up with a new game plan.
Our favorite guest, the heartbeat of this whole thing, Steve Peters, longtime NHL video coach, inside the coach's room on YouTube. Look at him. He's all kitted up. He's wearing his hat. He's even wearing his glasses. Hi, Petey.
Good morning, guys. Yeah, and can I be honest, DJ, to start this off? I usually want to be honest with you guys. So I get a text, hey, can you be on tomorrow? What time did you send that? Like, it was later, and I went to bed. So I get up this morning seeing a text, hey, can you be on tomorrow? And tomorrow to me is Friday. And so, yeah, no problem. So I start doing my work and I look at the clock and I look at those texts again because you sent another one. And I go, oh, no, this is in 3 minutes. So thus the hat, the unpreparedness. I was not quite prepared. Like, I've seen the game. I'm prepared on talking. I just was thinking Friday. So
that's on us. That's on us. We decided that we were going to have you on like Monday of this week. And then we forgot.
Yeah, chunked it.
But I keep that chaos time frame open all the time. That 12:30 U.S. time, I keep it open.
It's amazing that you make time for us. I'm going to ask you about this first because you were a longtime video coach, and really, teams should be jumping over houses trying to get you as their video coach. But I get it. You don't want to move around, whatever. The Sam Bennett thing. Oilers challenged that goal, and we discussed it for a little bit, where Sam Bennett, in the seconds leading up to it, is kind of like fishing around, trying to like look for skates or anything that could quote unquote trip him into the goalie. He's the best in the world at that, possibly. He's been doing it for years now. Oilers challenge it right away, though, because in the moment we see, who is he tussled up with? It was Kulak who ended up. Is it
Kulak and Wallman? Yeah.
Kulak and we see it in real time. We say, wait, Wallman didn't do anything there. They should challenge that. And then on the replay, you see that there was a little Kulak to it. In that moment, how much time do you say, okay, we're going here, and what would you have done?
Here's the problem, and the biggest problem, we're sitting at home watching it with absolutely no stress and pressure. The video guy's in a room with other voices, other people, one, in his ear, and two, he's looking for the replays that are going to help him make this call. And on top of all that, you got 90 seconds. And 90 seconds sitting and watching on TV is an eternity. 90 seconds in the video room is lightning quick. And you've got to find the replay that shows what you want. Here's the deal. Bennett right now creates the whole play, and we're going to tune in later to make sure you see this breakdown, but he causes this whole play to happen long before. As you guys said, he's stumbling in front with Wallman long before the play happens. But what he does by tying up Wallman in front of the net, he doesn't allow Wallman to get the puck. And the puck gets dumped into the corner. This is Edmonton's puck all day long. Like, there's two players closer to the puck. Both Wallman and Kulak are way closer than Tkachuk. Tkachuk's on the other side of the ice. But Tkachuk gets the puck because everybody's focused on Bennett. And that's the kind of things he does. He brings in that attention. Now, the second thing is, there is no doubt Bennett interferes with the goalie. We all see it. The goal goes in because Bennett falls into the goalie, period. So now the video guy's job, it's, yes, there's interference with the goaltender. Now, how is that created? And whose fault is it? Is he pushed in? You're always looking, is he pushed in first? The answer is no, he's not pushed in. So what creates his momentum into the goal? And you watch it, and I've watched this frame by frame. And their feet do collide. Kulak's feet bump with Bennett. There is no question, no doubt. Now, my mind, does Bennett help this and Bennett fall into the goalie? Without a doubt, he falls into the goalie. Could he have stayed on his feet? I think so. I don't see that the disturbance of the foot of Kulak is enough to knock Bennett over into the goalie. I don't. However, if the foot of Kulak does not go into Bennett's foot, Bennett doesn't fall. If Bennett makes that reaction where he falls back into the goalie without the feet touching, it's goalie interference. But because of the contact of the feet, that created the fall, that's what created the contact, this goal should stand. Incredibly difficult call for Noah Siegel with the Edmonton Oilers. Incredibly difficult. One of the things that I would use to sway this is the timing of the game. This is 10 minutes in. It makes the game 1-1. Okay, we can battle back. We're tied. We're even. So that's one thing that would say, gosh, unless I'm 100% sure, I can't make this call. Secondarily, you're going into this playoff series with a 66% penalty kill. Buddy, like, if you're running 98, yeah, throw the flag. Like, you're feeling really confident. Right now, you're not confident in your penalty kill. 10 minutes in, with the penalty kill being as bad as it's been, and you're tied 1-1, worst case out of this, I don't make the challenge. And I did pick up the phone because I don't trust myself. And I called other video guys around the league, guys that are in the game right now. And to a man, they said, I wouldn't have made the call. And I'm not knocking Noah Siegel. Like, it's Bennett. Like, you think the referee might say, hey, this is Bennett knocking over the goalie. You might get the benefit of the doubt. But again, it's situational. It's a lot of pressure. I got to give it to Noah Siegel for having the guts to make this call at this time in game 1 of the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah, I mean, that's we were watching it live and we kind of recognized both sides of it. I would not have wanted to make a decision there.
Yeah. I would have challenged it, and then I didn't realize until once they showed a replay and you saw Kulak, you're like, okay, well, there it is. Like,
right.
Fuck. And that's the difference.
But when did he see that, though, DJ?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
It was late. It was late in the process.
It was TSN's fifth replay. Right.
If I'm trying to call that, late. I probably, and this is why I'd be a shitty video coach, I'd also like be on my phone texting. But I would I would watch it and I'd look for Wallman and I'd say, nope, nothing, all good. And then you're probably looking at just Bennett's feet instead, right? Like, you're not just looking for who's he tussling with. You're trying to see absolutely anything. There could be a second hitter, you know?
Yeah, and you don't know which replay is going to be the one that's definitively helping you make this call. And as you watched it on TV, the video guy has access to several cameras that are hardwired. Unfortunately, the one you saw the best was a reverse angle low shot. It was a handheld camera from the other side. You finally see the feet touch. But on the TNT feed, that's the fifth replay. Now you're 60 seconds plus into this now. Like, you're at the point now where, oh my gosh, we've already made the call, or we're nearing making the call, and I haven't seen that replay yet. So for us to see the two best replays of the feet touching came after they said we're throwing the flag. And that's one of the things, keep in mind too. You get what we see at home. Those are the replays. He's got a TNT monitor, he's got a Canadian Sportsnet monitor, and he's got the hardwired cameras. And if they don't show it, he doesn't see it. And so the best replays came after he actually made the call, which again makes this really, really difficult and makes it really easy for us sitting at home on the couch.
We're not doing takeaways from game 1, but are you? Do you have any game 1 takeaways?
You know, you don't. You don't. And you said it last year. Edmonton loses 3-0 in game 1, and you move on. The thing you take away from game 1 is the system plays on all the things you thought were going to happen. Is that what happened? And I think there's some things that you take away. Florida, who chases man on man in the defensive zone, I thought they did a better job of protecting the middle of the ice. So, okay, now I have to go back to the drawing board and adjust for that. I don't think that they were running around in the defensive zone like I was expecting them to do. So that's an adjustment. I think what you pull from game 1 is things that you can adjust. And I think for the Edmonton Oilers, they're going to look long and hard at their penalty kill. I think the goal is them trying to be, everybody wants to be aggressive on the penalty kill. And right now, I don't think the Edmonton Oilers can be aggressive on the penalty kill. I think they got to be more passive. I think you have to let the play come to them and protect the front of the net. So I think what you do between game 1 and game 2 is you analyze all of the things that you can correct and all of the things that you expected to happen that didn't. And now you have to come up with a new game plan. I by no means is either team going, hey, Edmonton's going, we won this thing, and Florida's going, we're out of it. But absolutely not. The margin of error between these two teams is absolutely razor thin. And I think you saw it in the ebb and the flow of the game last night. So no one's leaving this going, oh my gosh, this is lopsided, Edmonton's rolling. I don't think any of us, including you guys, think that's happening.
Oh, okay, PD. We think that both these teams have gotten better from last year, but the games in the Stanley Cup final last year, I'm going to give you the scores. 3-0, 4-1, 4-3, 8-1, 5-3, 5-1, 2-1. And there was a tweet from our guy Scott McLaughlin last night that I thought was a pretty good point. Like, last year's final, he says, wound up being very compelling story-wise by the end, but it wasn't exactly filled with great games. Do you think that the games and how close they're played or do you think that the games will just be closer than they were last year?
I think the familiarity between the two teams is going to make these things closer. I think last year the difference is Edmonton and Florida, they don't know each other. They don't play often, and I know you're watching the film during the playoffs, but until you get in there and battle them, you don't know what they are. There's no secrets this year. They know McDavid and Draisaitl are driving the bus. Edmonton knows that Bennett, Tkachuk, and Verhaeghe, they're all getting to the blue paint, and they're going to be a problem. I think that makes these games tighter, so I think the coaching has helped make this a tighter contest. But you do see that the smallest of errors, the smallest puck play, is going to make a difference in this series. And I don't know if this series goes on, if it's going to make players more tentative, going, gosh, I really don't want to make a mistake here. I can't turn the puck over here. Or it's going to do the opposite, going, hey, let's just go. Let's just play. I do think we're in for a much tighter series. And I think you're going to see this go long. This is going to be long because Florida, when they get back home, they just have a different swagger. They're going to have different line matchups. They're going to be able to handle McDavid and Draisaitl a little bit better back in Sunrise. So I think we're in for tighter games. Now the caveat to that always is as you mentioned it, how good is Stu Skinner going to be? And how good is Bobrovsky going to be? The goaltenders, if they continue to play as they are playing now, I think we're in for a tight series. But either one falls off a cliff, yeah, you could see those games. You could see the 5-1 games.
Do you think Florida should be scared of the Leon Draisaitl factor? Because last year, didn't score a goal, was deeply hurt. And then game one, he's obviously the hero, scores twice. Like, is that the biggest difference from year to year outside of any additions that have been made roster-wise?
Yeah, I think we always say it. The Edmonton Oilers do as McDavid and Draisaitl do, and that's just reality. And I know they're relying on them less because they have 4 lines that can roll, and they're deeper than they were a year ago, without question. But McDavid was one guy you had to silence a year ago. Now you got to silence 2. And Draisaitl last night, when you go back, and I'm talking the little details, I know you see the goals and his ability to get the puck off his stick quickly and beat the goaltender. Amazing. But it's the little details on him winning the races to the puck or him being able to push a player off the puck that helps create things that happen much later in the play. Those are the differences. And he's a big, strong guy, and he separates players from the puck, and he is going to be a factor in this series without question. And when you go back and watch his ability to be in the right place at the right time all the time, that's something that Florida is going to have more than just 97 in their mind. Now it's 97 and 29 and 92. Podkolzin. Well, look at that offensive wizard. I like Podkolzin.
Podkolzin, man. I looked up his hockey DB yesterday. I was like, how many goals did he have again this year? Did he have like 15, like 16? I want to say he had 8.
Yeah.
Like he's just.
I feel like those were pretty front loaded.
He's just like he's a marker out there.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't even mention the Kasperi Kapanen breakaway that would have burned Edmonton to the ground because that place exploded so hard on the breakaway goal. Man, they had a number of opportunities that ended before they actually did last night.
And I think it's one of the things that Edmonton has, again, that this year, the 2 players we just mentioned, Podkolzin and Kasperi Kapanen, are 2 players that show their depth and what they could do. I tell you what, Podkolzin, anyway, I know we joke about him, but on the goal by Arvidsson, go back and watch what he does on that play. He drives through the neutral zone, and then he drives 2 defensemen, both the defensemen of the Florida Panthers, takes them out of the way, so Arvidsson has all the room, and then he has a presence of mind to get in front of the goalie as he's skating by. Bobrovsky never sees a shot. Podkolzin makes that goal, period. And the game winner, you talk about Nosek and the grief he's going to take for the rest of his career on that penalty. Why does that happen? Podkolzin. Podkolzin's on the wall on the other side of the ice, and he chases Nosek down, gets his stick near enough to Nosek to panic him. Nosek's got nowhere to go, all because of Podkolzin. So when we talk about little plays, Podkolzin chasing the puck down in the offensive zone in overtime, creating Nosek to throw the puck away, it's a nothing play. But in this game, because it goes over the glass, it defined the game. And that's what we mean. All these little plays lead up to everything big. And Podkolzin chasing Nosek down ends up being the difference in game 1. And I know it'll get lost in what a great goal that they score on the power play. But that's how tight the series is. And that's how every shift you're out there, you cannot make a mistake. You have to play the right way. And doing that for 60-plus minutes at that pace is nearly impossible.
We talked about going into the series how few exploitable things there were for teams, well, this team is bad at this and this team is great. Like pretty much both these teams are really good at everything. Like the Oilers don't have a good penalty kill, but we know that these people have been good penalty killers before and they can have one. Is there anything, and not just like from last night, but do you think there is a thing for either of these teams where you say, oh, well, they're going to eat them up on this?
Yeah, and I've said it. I said it before. I think the neutral zone is going to be a big key for this. And the Edmonton Oilers, through the first 3 rounds, scored 21 goals off the rush. Their ability to get through the blue lines quickly and get the puck from their end to the other end of the ice is absolutely amazing. Now you counteract that by being a good rush read team. Well, the problem with Florida and the way Florida defends through the neutral zone is they're extremely aggressive. And they want to close gaps. And they want to be right on top of the opposing player. That's great when you create turnovers. The problem with the speed and skill of the Edmonton Oilers, I'm looking for Edmonton to be able to play behind them. And I'm looking for Edmonton to be able to make the skilled plays at the blue line with Ekblad right up in your face to be able to chip the puck by him. I think that's going to be the biggest advantage for the Edmonton Oilers in this series. For the Florida Panthers, it's about getting to the net. And it's about their ability to drive and get to the blue paint. We talked about it with Bennett and Kachuk and Verhaeghe. And the list goes on what Florida can do to getting to the net. Edmonton's been great at defending the net front. But their defensemen also drift. And we talked about, Kulak and Bouchard. This is a tougher task than they've had to deal with throughout these playoffs. So the two areas for me are the neutral zone for Edmonton, and for Florida, it's getting to the blue paint.
Petey, what do you got coming up today?
I've been working diligently at coming up with a breakdown of every single goal last night and all of these little details that lead up to them. And stunning. Like I'm stunned at how really good players made some really big mistakes that led up to these. And again, that's nerves and that's first game chaos. So that's coming out here in the next couple hours. And then tomorrow I'm going to do a video breakdown on what these teams need to do going into game 2. So it's a lot more video and a lot of details on film. So going through film over the next 2 days, getting ready for
mistake watch.
Yeah. Speaking of mistake watch, I've seen a lot of discourse about the overtime winner and Leon Draisaitl being left alone there. Give us a little sneak, like who fucked up on that final play?
Well, first of all, you got to give it to McDavid. Like McDavid has played over 30 minutes into the game, and he's far more ice time than any other forward in this game. And he gets the power play drop pass, which just was great speed through the neutral zone, and he comes flying. And that's what starts the whole play. But you're right. We talk about the aggressive penalty kill of the Florida Panthers. That makes a difference. You get Jones up by the blue line. Most teams allow their defensemen to go to the dot or the hash mark on the penalty kill, and that's it. Florida lets their guys go. And by letting Jones go, and he goes all the way out to the blue line, that's where things start to break down. He goes way too far on that play. So now once one guy goes, everybody's got to cover up for that mistake. And that's what ultimately leaves Draisaitl all alone in behind. It's because of their aggressive penalty kill of the Florida Panthers leads to that. And it's risk reward. And they're not going to change tomorrow, and they're not going to change for game 3. They're just going to hope that over time, their aggressive play is going to be a benefit and versus what it caused them in game 1.
I'll say, if we're talking about that, shout out Corey Perry. He did not have his finest hour, but I know it probably didn't make like a huge difference that he pulls Mikkola into the corner there when he gives that little behind the back pass to McDavid, but I was rewatching this morning and I was like, God, what an incredible pass. But then I was like, it's also like to McDavid. So if you just kind of put it anywhere near him, he's just going to zip around. And because he's like a bug out there, he's unbelievable. But like, good play from Perry.
Yep. It is a good play from Perry. And he does those little things. The problem, first of all, it's McDavid's pass over Barkov's stick. That's world-class elite on the winning goal. The problem with Perry is what you saw in the first period. And it's 2 more offensive zone penalties. Dude can't do it. He just cannot do that. It was a fear coming into the series, and right through the first period, he does it twice. You get worried. So he is going to have to walk the line of being physical, being a pain in the rear end, and getting in front of the net and causing havoc without sitting in the penalty box. He's got to find that fine line.
He did that in game 1 against the Stars. Like he was a big reason why they lost game 1 against the Stars. Tweeted it last night. If the Oilers get to round 5, got to scratch him in game 1 and just bring him back. Like start him in game 2 and go from there. No more game 1s for Corey Perry, even though he helped him win the game last night.
Yeah,
you're the best, PD.
You got to play on that edge. It's Florida. Thanks, guys. I appreciate having me on, and I'll do better at watching my tests and timelines. So
please, we'll do better at booking people properly. Make sure you're subscribed to Inside the Coach's Room on YouTube. It is the best hockey account going, and we are not just saying that. It's fantastic. Thank you, PD.
We love you.
We all silly like the mayor.
Aiden Hill, friend of the podcast, sucker of coffee, lost his skate blade, had to be helped off the ice by his boys, DJ Khaled style, because he didn't want to get sand on his Jordans. You see that recently?
Yes, I did see that.
Was
yeah.
insane.
I know.
That's why
I totally got it.
That's why
I
he was being
respect it.
carried.
Yeah, he didn't want to
wanna
get the sand on his Jordans. Yeah, so he had other grown men literally carry him.
Why didn't he just take off his
I
Jordans?
don't like the energy you're coming with. You just said.
It's
Oh,
crazy.
no.
So he had grown men.
But yeah, because it's an
That's
insane
crazy.
thing to do. I respect it because if you have money and power, use it. but it's a crazy visual.
If you have money and power, you're still being carried by grown men.
Yeah.
I don't like how
it's
often
a
you guys
crazy
are saying
visual.
grown men.
I mean,
'Cause he's a
it's
large
a very
dude.
different realm than like, oh, if you're a grown man, should you be eating ice cream by yourself?
Okay,
as
so you're
opposed
saying-
to like having other grown men carry you because you don't want to get your sneakers dirty.
My linguistics and English sentence structure is a little rusty. I mainly go eye test by that. So you're saying if grown man is the subject, it has more stank on it, right? So if you're saying like if you're a grown man, then it has stank on it. But if you're saying if you bring this to grown men, it's not as bad. I agree with that.
Yeah.
All right. So, but still, can he get some? I would have gotten some like booties or something. Could have
Right.
gotten
There's so
Jersey
many other,
Shore.
there's so many other solutions
The
to being
sneakers
Well, I
carried
don't
before
by
think,
a
I don't
grown
think he was
man.
prepared for it. Like, I don't think he knew he was going to have to walk through sand to get to that stage or whatever.
But
so he
guess
got
what?
there.
You always have the option of just taking off your shoes.
Yeah, but then your feet are in the sand, and then you got sand on your feet.
So then have the grown men that are willing to carry you brush off your feet after you walk through the
That
sand.
is crazier. That is crazier than having.
No,
grown-
it's not.
Yes, it is.
That is a bigger flex of power and money. Having grown men clean your feet rather than carry you.
Yeah, but it's also a way worse visual. Like that is
What?
That is
You're
way
saying the
lamer.
visual of having grown men clean your feet is like
Then having other grown men touch your bare feet. Yeah, that's way weirder.
No, it's not. No chance.
Yes, it 100% is.
Having other grown men carry you is like way more emasculating or whatever it is.
Then having somebody clean your feet.
Yeah, because that's like a true power thing. Like that's like a king thing. You don't think kings back in the day had their servants clean their feet or
you
whatever?
don't think they had them? They didn't have them carry them around.
In a chair, maybe. If DJ Khaled was lugging around a big throne and had his Goonies or whatever carry him in the chair, it's a way cooler visual than having them carry him like his
I think
lipless body.
when you put it in the proper context, which was he clearly showed up, did not know he was going to have to walk through sand. You have two options. You can either have your security guards, who you are paying, physically pick you up for 30 seconds to get you over the sand, or you could wait, make everyone stop, take your shoes and socks off, walk through the sand, and then before putting your shoes and socks back on, making those grown men get on their hands and knees to sweep the sand off of your feet. That is fucking insane.
I'm
as opposed to
1,000% out of 1,000 times making the grown men get on their hands and knees to brush off my feet.
that's crazy.
And I'm a little man.
Mm-mm.
I'm a manlet. That'll
as
be
I-
easy to pick up.
As I said after the Jesus commercial during the Super Bowl, I'm not touching nobody's damn feet. I'm not touching nobody's feet.
But in this situation, you're the one having people touch your feet.
I don't want anyone touching my feet.
All right, so Sean is on grown man watch. I laughed so I was just as like the wannabe Mike Greenberg of this operation. I have to say that's the best discussion I've ever just like sat back and watched go. I want to clip that whole thing, not edit it at all, just post it and just let the world take it in.
At the end of the day, I think that if you're not hurt or you don't have an equipment malfunction, you should not be carried by grown men.
I think unless you are literally talking to Jesus Christ, you should not have grown men cleaning your feet.
Grown men makes me laugh every time. Grown men just has,
We're a grown men podcast.
we're just grown men.
We all silly like the mayor.
Like
Yeah.
you're good. There's going to be an element of proving yourself no matter where you go. But I think that like there are definitely like if he's putting together a list based off of opportunity, there are definitely teams that stand above others.
Earlier this month, Yegor Chinnikov requested a trade from the Columbus Blue Jackets, and he is a 24-year-old right wing, very talented, high draft pick, shoots the puck very hard, has scored quite a few goals in his shortish time in the league. He's had a shortish time in the league because he can't stay healthy. He had a back injury last year, came back, ended up being healthy scratch down the stretch. He doesn't like Dean Evison. His agent has come out and said that. They've requested a trade. I think that the Blue Jackets kind of have to trade him. We've discussed just the trade request itself, but I want to give you 5 teams that should trade for Igor Chinnikov. Before we jump into it, Pete, what do you think of Igor Chinnikov's value right now?
I mean, it's lower than I think he would want it to be, but obviously, like, the ceiling is where the value is. Is you if you're trading for this guy, it's because you believe in him and you believe in what he can be. My problem with Chinnikov, where we're at right now, is I think that over the past couple of years, it's been proven in Columbus that Marchenko drives, and Marchenko elevates basically everybody that he plays with. And so when you look at some of these numbers guys who played with Marchenko and then what they look like away from Marchenko, like, does that scare you? And for a lot of teams, I think it should scare them when they're looking at Chinnikov.
Yeah, but he's a $2.1 million cap hit, RFA after next season, just like feels like a borderline flyer right now. Like, I don't know, like I feel like a 3rd round pick for Chinnikov is maybe too high.
Too much?
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know. I could be wrong. Like,
if that's the price, I'm doing that all day.
Yes. Yeah. I think that 1st round pick has to be out because like he wasn't very good last year. And like I said, back stuff should scare teams away. And he feels like more of a, I won't say broken toy, I won't say reclamation project, but a non-sure thing. And you see players over the years, whether it's like Andre Kasha or like Carl Soderberg, these types of things where either the player has injury history or you don't know the player's situation if they're going to play in the league. Those guys end up moving. And when they move, you're like, not much really. Like Kasha was a throw-in in the David Backes trade. And that was a guy that at the time everyone was like, wow, you got that guy for a song. Turns out doesn't really do anything because there's 2 sides to these types of flyers / reclamation project types.
But Kasha was he was like an analytical darling. Like,
yeah.
Chinnikov is not even that.
Yeah.
So like Chinnikov's underlying metrics have him as, I believe, like a net negative at this point, which is kind of crazy.
And the other side of it is, I was thinking about maybe the Canucks for this, but I think I'm going to leave the Canucks out of it. But Vasily Podkolzin, high draft pick, sort of had, you just say fallen out of favor or maybe become a fringe player on that team, gets moved for, I want to say, a 4th round pick. And then it looks like where he ends up, he carves out a full-time role, becomes a pretty valuable player for that team. So it's a good situation for a team that's trading for him because they don't have to pay him a lot right now. There's a year to see what he can be. And if you give up, say, a 3rd round pick for him, and who knows, maybe he ends up moving for a 2nd or another prospect or something like that. And we say, okay, we were a little off on what the value would be, but he's a player that's worth the risk to me because I think that he can be a good scorer, but you're right. There's allegations of being a Marchenko merchant. There's certainly injury history. So there's reasons why when this guy demands a trade, I think the Blue Jackets aren't like, oh no, what are we possibly going to do? I think that he's more the type that you trade for if you're not sure of where your team is and if you just kind of want to take a swing and see if he can pay off big. Here's
the thing though, like if you're trading for him, I think you got to know where you're going to place him, or you got to have a really strong idea of where you want to place him.
Oh yeah,
I don't think he's not going to drive.
And part of his thing was, I don't know if you saw the quotes from his agent. The quotes from his agent were very fun. A lot of it was anti-Dean Evison, but one of the quotes was, and shout out our guy Ryan Lambert for bringing this up on the Puck Soup podcast. One of the quotes was, I don't have it off the, let me see, I'll be able to find it. He says, ask any team, let me see if I can find it. Yeah, any team in the NHL would say Chinny is a top 6 player, the agent said. To which RL was like, I can name one team that famously has him and feels that he is not a top 6 player. So that was part of the issue because he started off as a first liner, was good, got hurt, came back, was a third liner, was bad, was a healthy scratch. And I don't think that this guy is like a fringe healthy scratch type player. So if he wants a new start, fine, get him out of there. That's cool. My number one team that I think should be interested in Yegor Chinnikov, the Nashville Predators. That's a team that was bought second worst in scoring last season. And above all, I don't know what they are, and they don't know what they are. Are they trying to continue to go for it with some of the older guys they have, or are they going to start a rebuild, or are they going to try to toe the line? No matter which of your paths are, if you're the Predators, he kind of works for that. I don't think you're giving up a lot for him. You do have draft picks, so that's what I would do. And right now, I think that Luke Evangelista is their second line right wing. Decent young player, around the same age as Chinnikov, but doesn't have the upside and certainly doesn't have the NHL success of Chinnikov. So I'd like him on the Predators, and maybe, who knows, maybe he pushes Marchessault at one point.
Yeah, I mean, I think like there's a lot of teams in the league that should have interest in him because of the ceiling, but also because of the versatility. Like, he plays both wings, and so like there's gonna be a spot for him, and like a lot of teams are looking for a guy who can be in their top six. Like the Bruins famously didn't get their top six winger in free agency, but like you look at like a Colorado.
Bruins, I almost put on there.
The Kings are looking for more scoring help up front. Like,
no way.
The New Jersey Devils, like the New Jersey Devils desperately need help on the wings, and they've struck out in free agency. There's a lot of teams that could be in the market for this guy. Why are you saying no way to the Kings?
Devils, because he's young. Kings don't want any more young guys.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
Like, it sucks, but like, no way. If there were a list of teams I rule out for them and watch, they go out and get him now. But I would start with what teams will be assholes with this type of player, and the Kings would be high on the list.
Yeah, but I mean, like, maybe not, because look at what Kuzmenko did for them after they got him from the trade deadline last year. And that kind of brings me to my next team, the team that fits the same sort of profile as the Nashville Predators, the Calgary Flames.
That's my
Calgary
number two
Flames
team.
One of the worst offensive teams in the league last year. Don't really know where they are. Like, don't really know what their identity is, who's going to factor in for them in the bigger picture. Why not? Why not take a picture? Like, he fits the exact mold of what you described in Nashville.
Flames, perfect fit, I think. And especially with not totally knowing Connor Zari's future, I think he's going to stick around, but playing what? Is he a left wing there, or is he a center there? I think that at some point you thought he would profile to be a center. He's played a bit of left wing for them, but that gives you versatility. If you decide this guy's going to end up being, by this guy I mean Zary is a center, then cool. You play Chinnikov on the left wing or right wing. Number 3, because I think it combines Russians with opportunity, is the Minnesota Wild. Tarasenko's there right now, and he's only got 1 year, but respectfully, he's really on the back 9 and possibly playing the 18th hole.
Should not be on your top 6.
Should not be in your top 6, but right now probably is. So if you get him, if you get Chinnikov, first of all, he competes with Tarasenko for a top 6 spot and probably pushes him out as long as he's healthy. And if he's really good and he's the type of player that his agent claims that he is, then you get to do an oops 2/3 Russians line on your first line with him and Kirill Kaprizov.
Yeah, I mean,
I like him for the Wild. And then number 4, we had to go with one of the teams we beat into the ground. A team that scores a lot, but just lost their best scorer, Buffalo Sabres.
Buffalo Sabres.
Sean, how you feel about your I question it because Chinnikov has, I won't say baggage, but there's uncertainty there, and he's young, and young plus uncertainty typically equals Buffalo Sabres in a bad way.
The only thing with that is this, like, I don't want there to be like another RFA situation they have to deal with. But
true.
The reason I put my hand up originally was because I was going to protest like the best scorer allegation. I don't know that I actually could.
Tage.
I was getting a Tage, but yeah, I don't like. I'm at a state with the Buffalo Sabres where anytime a player that might be good suggests that they don't want to play on their team anymore, I'm like, Sabres, do something. This could be something. But it's I think it would upset Sabres fans because it would be like they would just look at him not playing top 6 minutes. They'd be like, oh, you guys just got another bottom 6 forward, even though that might not be what he is. It'd be fine. I don't think from like a non-Sabres perspective, I think there's better fits for him.
Okay,
here's my issue with the Buffalo Sabres of it all is if he doesn't like playing for Dean Evison, oh boy.
Yeah.
Him with Lindy Ruff. Good luck.
I mean, it really just depends on why he's upset with Dean Evison. Because if it's just because he wasn't playing top 6 minutes, then like probably get that opportunity in Buffalo. Is it just is it going to be good?
Okay, I'm going to give a couple of honorable mentions that I'm upset I can't include because he cares so much about opportunity. Maple Leafs would have been really interesting. Bring him in there, and not that he is a Mitch Marner replacement, but in an offseason in which you lost a really high-end offensive player to take a flyer among the other moves you've made. You've brought in Dakota Joshua, which puts me on a whole other thing about like the value of bottom 6 players, because Dakota Joshua was got, I think, for like a 4th-round pick when all these teams are going out there and giving 4th-liners like $3.5 million a year for 5, 6, 7, 8 years. But I would have liked him there, but I just don't think that the opportunity is set in stone in the top 6 there. And if he's going to be a baby about that, then it's not worth the headache in trying to trade for him, even though I do think they have the space. The other team I would have liked for him, a contender, Washington Capitals. That would have been a lot of fun. But
there's just no spot for him.
There's no, especially with Ryan Leonard coming in.
Yeah.
How pissed would you be if your whole thing was, I want opportunity, I want top 6, and it's like, well, cool, Ryan Leonard's here and he doesn't have a top 6 job right now, so get in line, brother man. So as a result, what's that?
You know what? Like, Carolina fucking loves Russians.
But they've got a lot of guys.
That's what I was going to say about Utah. They love Russians. But
yeah, but
it would be
Carolina has a lot of guys, but like there is like if he was willing to take a like middle 6 role on a really good team where he'd probably get some good opportunity to play with good players and produce. Carolina, I don't know. That's not a terrible spot. I think it's like there's more opening there, I think, than a Washington.
It would basically be you have to beat out Jordan Martinook for a job. And even then, though, you're a 3rd liner. Like they are primed and locked down on the wing positions. Like they've got Stankoven, they've got Taylor Hall, they've got Nikolai Ehlers, they've got Jackson Blake. They've got like they are good. And I'm not naming the 5 best wings in the league, but I'm naming surefire top 6 or middle 6. And if he got there, I think that he would factor in more as a middle 6 guy. But because they have so many guys at those positions, you'd be fighting for a middle 6 job. And I think that would make him lose his mind. So my final team on the list is, because I think that this would be good for his growth, the Detroit Red Wings. You can be a middle 6 guy for this year and then be a successor to Patrick Kane if Patrick Kane ever moves on. Like, and that job can be yours forever. Do that. I mean, it would, but that job would still involve proving yourself and staying healthy. And brings me to the larger point of, I think the opportunity and the situation he seeks does not exist for him. Like you're a high draft pick who can't stay healthy. No team is trading for you saying this is the job.
Oh yeah. They're not handing you the keys. Like you're good. There's going to be an element of proving yourself no matter where you go. But I think that like there are definitely like if he's putting together a list based off of opportunity, there are definitely teams that stand above others. Well, Detroit's a really good one, especially considering what their left side seems to look like right now. Like just looking at their depth chart right now, they have James Van Riemsdyk listed as their number 1 left wing, which that should not exist in the year.
That is Alex DeBrincat erasure that I will not tolerate.
No, I mean, it's not saying that he's a better player than Alex DeBrincat. I'm just looking at the daily face-off lineup card right now, and they have JVR slotted in at first left wing, which, like, that's crazy to me. So, like, if there's spots on the Red Wings roster to be had on either the left side or the right side, and I think that's a good spot too, because there's a lot of pressure on Steve Yzerman being like, what the fuck are we doing here? When are we doing it? When are we getting over the hump? That could be something that you point to and say, like, that's a good move to help them push them forward.
Yeah.
What about a team that we talked about just last week?
Seattle Kraken?
Seattle Kraken. In terms of opportunity, I'm not saying that fixes the Kraken's problems. But
they got Mason Marchment. A lot of their good stuff, I would say, is down the middle. So, but
just like their lineup, when we talked about them, like, my feeling is that their lineup has a lot of really solid players who are like, you can rely on them. The problem is that they're all like kind of middle six forwards, and they're just throughout the lineup. Whereas, like, if Chinnikov was to go there, I don't know how many of those guys he's like truly beating out unless he's really throttling at full potential.
Yeah, and like not the same player, but they already traded for Capo Caco.
Yeah,
like they already have the
they got their
high
hands full
draft
already.
pick. What's this guy going to be?
Yeah.
You know? And you don't want to, we talked about this with the Kraken, like you don't ultimately want to be the team, except in the case of the expansion Golden Knights and last year, the 2024-25 Capitals. You don't always want to be the team that has all of the, where's that guy going to go guys? You know, because usually if they're on the outs for some sort of reason. And there's so many players who've been on the outs with teams, gone to new teams, and then just been unbelievable players. So it's not to say that it's not a good thing if you get one or two of those guys, but like get one or two of them. Don't get a lot of them.
The most obvious one for me is Pittsburgh. Like Pittsburgh has nobody. They're like, that guy could be their best wing. That's an exaggeration, but like he could come in and be like, I might be the best winger in this.
It's not as much of an exaggeration as you might want it to be,
and he's not going to mess up what they're doing.
But yes and no. He's probably not going to mess up what they're doing, but he might make them a little bit better. And I really have no clue if they have any interest in getting better at all.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like, he's going to score goals for them when he's healthy, but they're still going to lose the games in which he scores goals. I think they are really bad.
Like, they're a disgrace.
Right now, their middle six left wings are both 21 years old. At least the listed ones on
who we
Daily
got?
Face-Off. I feel like Koivunen, and Koivunen, and Rutger McGroarty.
I knew the Rutger would be in there somewhere. Poor Rutger.
The Penguins roster is so fucking bad. It is unbelievable.
It's so funny. Their fourth line
it's
rocks.
So sad. Like,
their fourth line,
it's Sidney Crosby, and then just a bunch of garbage.
Can I interest you in a fourth line of Connor Dewar, Blake Lizette, and Justin Brazeau?
You can
wait. do they have Brajol?
Yeah. They do have Brajol, yeah.
When did they get Brajol?
This offseason, I believe, right?
When Minnesota was like, oh boy, we got
2-year contract
on this one.
2-year contract with a 1.5 AAV.
Damn.
We all silly like the mayor.
I think the answer is, though, that there is no wrong answer.
Well, you said before the show that there were wrong answers.
Yeah. Now, what's very cool is that a lot of hockey people have gotten into this show, and this is something I want to talk about with Jacob Tierney, where this show has gotten some hockey people into the show, but I also think this show has gotten some romance TV watchers into hockey. And people
He's definitely got them into hockey podcasts.
Yeah, people will comment on our stuff and be like, I just came here for Heated Rivalry. I saw there was a video of you guys talking Heated Rivalry, watched it, and now I just check out your stuff anyway, even though I don't really know what you guys are talking about. But added to that has been, now I want to get into hockey. Which teams should I root for? Give me some direction here. Happy to do that. I don't know if we're going to give good advice, but happy to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
My beginning of an answer to that would be just look around and see what teams are near you. Because typically sports fandom, like I was not a huge soccer fan, and I got into soccer within the last 10 years just by getting into the local team. Watched a couple of New England Revolution games on TV, then started going to all the games and was absolutely hooked. So I would say that the easiest way is to root for the local team. You're going to have friends who are rooting for them. There's already going to be a kind of built-in community there. Yeah. It's just going to be a lot easier to assimilate.
And I think in particular, if you live in a city without an NHL team, get into the AHL team or the ECHL team. Because especially if it's an AHL team, there's like prospects you'll get to know, and if they make it to the league, that's fun. And also like going to hockey games is the best way to fall in love with hockey.
Definitely.
So and it's cheap and accessible when you're in a minor league town.
Definitely. And I mean, even for me as a Bruins fan, like I feel like my Bruins fandom hit like another level when the team sucked, and it was easy to get into the building for like $12 on student night when I was in high school. And so I just went for something to do, and it is the best sport to watch live. It's great to be in the arena, and so that's a good recommendation. But I also think outside of just proximity, there's a million things that you can kind of look for and build like a case for your favorite team around.
Give them to me.
I mean, I have like if you're looking for star players, that's a good start. Like watching some of the best players in the league is an electric way to see how fun hockey can be.
How much do their off-ice personalities weigh into that? Because I think that I don't want to say like, I'll say it for lack of a better term, like the stannable player is a very big thing in hockey these days, where like, I like this team, but look how messy this player is. Or look how, or like
memeable.
Yes. Yeah. Like all of that shit. And we have a lot of fun with it. There are a lot of players who really play to that intentionally or unintentionally. So that's part of it. But I'll say, whichever team you pick, there's a good chance you're going to find a couple of players where you're like, look at this goof. What's he doing?
But when you do that, you kind of have to open yourself up to the possibility of changing teams.
Yeah.
If you are aligning with a star, and I don't think there's anything wrong with like being a fan of certain players rather than certain teams, and then kind of changing your alliance based on that. But like Matthews is a big one that we talk about all the time.
Don't be a Leafs fan.
Don't be a Leafs fan.
No, so the two biggest, I wrote down that like if you want big face of the franchise types who also seem fun off the ice, or at least kind of
give you something.
Yeah, just give you something.
Because like Austin Matthews, I wouldn't say is necessarily fun, but he's funny.
But there's always stuff happening around Austin Matthews.
Exactly. And I'll quickly say, Pete's a Boston Bruins fan. I'm an Edmonton Oilers fan. Sean is a Buffalo Sabres fan. So this is biased as I say it. The Oilers have the best player in hockey in Connor McDavid. But if I'm recommending, if you just want to see like an athlete do some shit you never seen before, I would say watch the Edmonton Oilers, because they have two players who do that, and especially one in Connor McDavid who will do it all the time. But if you also want a team who has good players and will give you moments where you're texting your friends being like, look at this fucking guy, Leon Draisaitl is really up there. The other, I would say, Austin Matthews from the Toronto Maple Leafs, in terms of this guy is so good, but also I want this guy to be my children's stepfather.
I mean, he's a balding Mexican hockey player.
Godfather.
He's a balding Mexican hockey player that wears gay menage a trois sweaters. That's the most fascinating thing ever.
Yeah.
Just
I think that's probably fair. And a lot of people from Heated Rivalry think that he looks like Scott Hunter.
Yeah.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah, that was like a lot of the comps going on.
I saw Scott Hunter and I thought Adam Henrique-esque.
I did not think Austin Matthews.
Yeah, I don't think he necessarily looks like Henrique, but he's got Henrique-like features.
Yeah. The other one, like good team. If you want a good team, like obviously right now the Colorado Avalanche are the place to go.
And they'd fucking love to have you.
Well, here's the thing.
As long as you're paying any kind of attention to them.
Here's the thing, and this is part of one of the things that I have on the list. The fan combativeness of the Colorado Avalanche is quite high.
But not against if you want to be a part of something, the Colorado Avalanche, I feel like, will accept you with open arms and then put a sword in your hands so you can join the fight against every other fan in the league.
I don't know if they would be welcoming to people that don't know their stuff. And that was when I got into soccer, a huge part of it was that New England Revs fans are so cool. And they were just like, someone wants to know? Ask me questions. Happy to help you. I don't know, unfortunately, if every fan base is like that.
Right.
I think the Colorado Avalanche are so in their own world that and again, my problem with Colorado sports fans have always been that they think everyone hates them when the reality is people just aren't paying attention to them. And I think that they would like to have some attention. And you talk about the altitude broadcast, they have, I think, I'll say the best 1-2 punch in hockey. I think I'd taking Makar McKinnon. Maybe. I don't know.
All right.
I also have fan
Remember that.
experience on the list, which is kind of part of the Avalanche discussion. But mention this when we did our season preview stuff. Utah Mammoth, it's the newest team in hockey. All their fans are very excited. Maybe that has dipped a little bit because the team hasn't been as good as expected this season. But the vibes around Utah are so positive and so welcoming for the most part that being a new fan, you wouldn't feel out of your depths because a lot of those people are learning at the same time as you. And it's a fun young team. They've got a good vibe going on around them. Another one that I would throw into that group as well, the Columbus Blue Jackets. We found out over the past few years, the Blue Jackets have one of the most loyal but also welcoming fan bases, and they get very, very excited when people are excited about their team because they've been a punching bag and continue to be a punching bag if you listen to the Bill Simmons podcast. So the Blue Jackets, I think if you are a new fan, they would love to have you.
I'll also, off the top of my head, give you some knocking on the door teams and some taking the next step teams. I'll start with taking the next step teams. Chicago Blackhawks, really fun, and it was bad the last few years. Really bad. Kind of didn't know what they were doing, but now they're seeing their young players get good. They have a good young goalie. They have a face of the franchise in Connor Bedard, who is just programmed to be great at hockey. They're a really fun team. Their captain, Nick Foligno, is the absolute salt of the earth. If you want, are people in the chat are saying, what type of personality in the league is a Scott Hunter? Who carries themselves with that sort of everyman type of thing? Nick Foligno is that guy where if you play on his team, come to him with anything and he's got you. So great captain, good young players taking the next step. They're fun. Another one.
Wait, before you move on, I do want to point out that if you're a gay hockey fan, there might be some baggage there.
Oh,
so
true.
Do a little research. Do some Googling.
True. I did forget that. I apologize. The Anaheim Ducks, also a team that has a lot of veterans, but a lot of young players who are taking the next step. They wear cool jerseys as well. As for teams that are kind of knocking on the door and you want to get right in, watch the playoffs, but not necessarily feel like you're a front runner, Dallas Stars have a very good roster and have gone to the Western Conference Final for a bajillion years in a row. I don't know if they're too good.
Stars are kind of boring. I don't know.
They are kind of wake me up when they're winning.
Not
or when
in terms
they
of,
win.
the product is fun. They score a ton. They're fun. They've got some good personalities down there. But as a brand, I would say the Dallas Stars don't have a ton of personality.
Somebody pointed it out, and it's not something I had considered originally, is I think the broadcast team is a big part of that because the reality is you're going to be watching most of these games on TV, not in person. And that's where a place I think Colorado has a certain amount of an advantage. I'm biased, obviously, but I think Rob Ray is a fucking electric factory. You're bound to get something interesting on any given series. I mean, we've got a guy who gets hit in the face with pucks and swears and eats hot dogs on the 300s, and an intermission guy who has tattoos on his knuckles. That fucking rocks. Is the team fun? No.
Sometimes.
Occasionally.
Just don't be a depressed person. They might push you over the edge.
That's like going to the Buffalo Sabres are going to a casino. It's if you are not in a good place mentally, probably shouldn't be doing it. Any given night could be the best night of your life, or you could go bankrupt, either physically or emotionally.
Such a good comp. It's like a casino. It's either the best of times, or you wake up in the morning and you go out there and there's people hitting the fucking slots at 6:30, 7 a.m. and they've been there all night and you're like, oh God, this is the worst of humanity. That is a very, very accurate comp to the Buffalo Sabres.
But that's why I feel there are few bad picks here.
It just depends what you're looking for.
If you connect to them, I also think the universe will kind of tell you. Mm-hmm. And I've had a tough time picking a Premier League team over the years because I was like, okay. At the time I drove a Hyundai and I was like, all right, Chelsea. And then I watched some of their games and I was like, this feels fake. I don't really feel a connection to them yet. And
you mean you were watching Eden Hazard and you weren't feeling a connection?
Got Matt Turner and I was like, all right, I'm watching Matt Turner. Love this guy. And then they got
Shop
rid of
around.
Matt Turner, and I was like, the universe hasn't really told me. A team will come to you. A team will be presented to you, and if it is, say, the Buffalo Sabres, the Buffalo Sabres are a miserable franchise overall for the last however many years, and they can be a miserable experience. And what makes Sean so great, among other things, and a beautiful person, is that he's a Buffalo Sabres fan.
There is a
I'm a
beauty
loyal
in being
man.
molded in the shit. There's
Yes.
a beauty in being molded in the shit. Like,
And-
I feel a lot of pride being a Boston Red Sox fan who came up in the 90s and like really was molded in the shit, like fully genuinely subscribing to the belief that I would never ever fucking see my team win a World Series and they would lose in the most painful ways possible. I'm still an Arsenal fan. Like, I'm not the deepest Arsenal fan as I used to be, but like I chose Arsenal because I loved being molded in the Red Sox fandom, and Arsenal is that team that just like people believe they're never going to fucking win. Maybe that's changed a little bit over the last couple of years, but there is some beauty in getting in on a loser franchise and being able to be a part of the come up.
Eileen in the
talking-
chat, if you could scroll up, Sean. Eileen in the chat says that literally one of the reasons she picked the Stars as her team was she wanted more green stuff.
That's insane.
And now
because-
Eileen is an insane Stars fan who watches this show every day, comments pro Stars stuff all the time. You'll be floored by what little thing can hook you. And it can be, I like this player. It could be what's going on with that mascot. It could be they have a cannon in the building that they shoot out. Some little thing can get you, and then you find out, wait, this was supposed to be my team all along. It's beautiful. Another knocking on the door team that I want to submit, and we have yet to talk about uniforms as part of this. And Eileen picking the Stars for green does tie into like, what kind of shit do you want to wear? This would be a strike against this team, but a very good knocking on the door team is the Carolina Hurricanes, and they've got some fan favorite players there. Like, there's no more lovable person possibly on the planet than Seth Jarvis.
Great community experience for the Carolina Hurricanes as well. And if you love tailgating, go to a game in Raleigh, and it's a very, very fun place. They love that team. It is a scary fan base. So if you want to be viewed by outside fans being like, oh, you're a fucking Canes fan? Psycho. Go ahead and sign up for that.
Well, that was kind of what I was thinking earlier. Is I generally am of the belief that if you're picking a team and there's not like it's not like you're picking based on locality or whatever. Like, if you're just trying to find a team, you got to pick a bad team. You can't pick a team that there is a clear path to them winning a Stanley Cup like this season. I think that's bad behavior. Unless, and that doesn't really apply because I don't think they don't have the clearest path to winning a Stanley Cup. I think if you chose to be a Florida Panthers fan right now, it would rock. Under the circumstance that you lean into the fact that what you're doing is kind of asshole behavior and everyone hates like, if you're like, you know what? Everyone hates the Florida Panthers. Everyone thinks I'm a bandwagoner. Fuck it. I'm going to do that shit. I'm going to lean into it, and I'm going to be annoying about the fact that, yeah, I'm only rooting for this team because they've been successful the last few years, and no, I don't care about the property. Like, if you want to be a hater, then the Florida Panthers would rock.
So I'm happy to give anybody a recommendation on a team based off of what they find important. So if you send me like what you're looking for in a team, I'm happy to provide you one. Before this season started, I gave a list of recommendations to Chef Reactions, who was on the show a couple weeks ago, and he ended up picking the Detroit Red Wings. I do want to like run down the list of teams that I gave him and some of the reasons. We've already covered some of them, like the Oilers, they're electric, the Sabres, because ground floor. But
Below
also
the
saying
floor.
like they're the most frustrating team alive. I did say the Bruins because they're in a rebuild and they've got a ton of history, got good uniforms. They're like a blue collar team right now. Red Wings because of the uniforms, Blue Jackets for the reasons that I've already mentioned. The Minnesota Wild, they're kind of a fun one because like they're maybe like on pop watch where like they could pop soon.
It's ground floor-ish.
And ground floor-ish. There's like not an overwhelming history that you have to brush yourself up on. It is the state of hockey. Utah, for the reason that I mentioned. San Jose Sharks, they got Wilmack. They got fun vibes.
Oh, Sharks, yeah.
They're going to be good in a little bit and could be good for a while. That fan base is pretty welcoming. Same thing with the Ducks and all the young players that they've got, Blackhawks, and then the Avalanche. So like happy to provide a tailored recommendation to anybody, but that's kind of what I sent to Chef Reactions.
I have one that we haven't said yet, and you're wearing their hat.
Oh, yeah.
What about the
Ground
New York
floor.
Islanders? I mean,
Definitely.
they've got veterans, but they've also got one of the most exciting young players in hockey. And you hear me say that, and you're like, one of the most exciting players in hockey. What? Who cares? Has not been a better time in the world for young, exciting players in hockey this side of 2004, 2005. You know?
Yeah.
Those guys coming in. Right now, it's at a point where every team, hopefully, not every team, but like a lot of teams have good young players who like that guy's going to be around for a long time. But there are also the Bedards, the Celebrinis, the Will Smiths of the world, and Matthew Schaefer, as young defensemen go, can't be touched.
Right, and you're going to have Cole Eiserman soon. You're going to have Cal Ritchie, who's like starting to break out a little bit. Like
You've got a coach that wants to fight.
yeah,
players.
you got like one of the most electric coaches who's like a historic figure in the game. And just the Islanders vibes, like they've got a bit of a psychotic fan base because it's Long Islanders, but it is a sort of like little brother endearing fan base where it's a smaller community, but they fucking love their team. They ride for their team.
and you got a built-in rival.
And
which
you
I
got a
love.
new stadium.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason that I recommended the Red Wings too, because they have the best arena in hockey. But like Islanders vibes are only going up from here on out. So
Also, if you get into a team and say, I'm thinking of this team, what are some things that, I mean, we really could put together an amazing primer of like starting your journey as a team of whatever, because we were talking about the Ducks and how exciting they are. And I said they have young players, the Leo Carlsons, the Cutter Gauthiers of the world. Someone in the chat said Seneca. If you're going to get into one of these teams, I'm sure that you can ask around on that team's Reddit or whatever, but we could also probably rattle you off like 5 funny clips that will absolutely kill you. Like if you say, all right, I'm going to be an Oilers fan. What do they got? We'll tell you about Gene Principe, the like greatest broadcaster in the world who dresses up for every game, or Phoebe Stetcher, the fastest dog in the NHL. Whatever team Cody Cece's on, we'll tell you about Cody Cece at that time, although he's going to be with the Kings for a while now, and we love it. So we'll give you whatever you need there. We haven't really talked enough about the Canadian teams, so I do want to kind of quickly run down the Canadian teams. I'll say, if you live near one of the Canadian teams, no brainer.
Yeah.
You just got to go with one of those teams.
Unless
And
unless
Senators.
it's Leafs.
that's for better or worse.
Unless it's in Ontario.
No. I'll say like Leafs are kind of a classic pick. They are a tortured franchise. They have a great uniform. Their fan base, I mean, I've always enjoyed Leafs fans. Pete probably has a different experience because Pete kind of prods at them a little more. But the Leafs, classic look, the whole thing. Austin Matthews, very exciting. A downside is I want some affordability with some of my teams. So like I know people who are Leafs fans, and I'll tell them like, hey, I'm going to Canada. I'm going to check out this team or whatever. And they'll say like, oh, it must be nice. I've been to one Leafs game in my life.
Yeah,
That
accessibility
kind of stinks.
is not good for Toronto.
If you're coming here and if you're a new hockey fan from Heated Rivalry, Montreal Canadiens are a good pick. Jacob Tierney, big fan of the Habs. A lot of there are some fun celebrity fans for the Canadiens. Obviously, Jay Baruchel, big Canadiens fan, but they're a fun young team. It's not quite ground floorish, but you don't feel front runnery if you're jumping on the Canadiens. And I won't say like for a franchise as winning as that franchise, it's rare, I'd say, that there's an opportunity for you to jump on them without looking like you're a front runner. They've got a lot of really fun players, a lot of fun young players. Lane Hudson, Uri Slavkovsky, the love of your life, Ivan Demidov. They've got fun goalies on the way. Canadian. I went to a game recently. They have one of my favorite mascots in sports, Youppi. They've also got Metal,
Which has
Best
lore in his
atmosphere.
own
and
right.
like I would say, if not the top, tied for the top as far as atmosphere goes. It's great. The bilingual thing is really, really fun.
Is it?
I think so. I can't wait to ask Jacob Tierney about what he calls Centre Bell.
Ooh,
Bell Center.
yeah.
Which
probably.
is what the Montreal Canadiens call it also, by the way. Only thing I was going to say is I think it's worth considering at least the time zone that you live in.
Oh, right.
Because if you live on the East Coast and you're signing up for San Jose Sharks hockey, good for you. That's awesome. But you're also you're signing up for a lot of staying up until 1 a.m. to watch hockey.
Which may not be a bad thing,
May
depending
not.
on
It
your,
depends-
your schedule.
But I think it's something to consider. That if you're on different coasts, or if you're a Westerner and you choose an East Coast team, like some of those games might be starting while you're still at work.
I don't even know what is the time zone in Edmonton. It's not all the way.
It's 2 hours.
It's 2 hours, but I don't know what that one's called.
Mountain.
Is that
It's
mountain?
Mountain.
Is that mountain? Okay.
It's East
East my
Central
girlfriend was not a hockey fan at all and got into the Edmonton Oilers because I watched the games. But I will say it is a little tricky where some days she'll be like, "What time are the Oilers playing tonight?" And I'm like,
Well,
10:30, and she's like, "Well,
that's also like I feel like a problem somewhat unique to the Oilers because I can never predict their fucking start time, whether
Fair.
they're home or away. They can either start between 8 or 10:30
Right.
when they're at home, which doesn't really exist for a lot of other teams.
fair."
Yeah, and I didn't even think that I know there's nuts that live in like Nova Scotia. They live in like Atlantic time.
Yeah.
So those games, West Coast games, are starting at 11 p.m. for them.
Somebody in the chat also mentioned that if you are a Tate McRae fan, you might want to hop on the Devils
That
bandwagon.
was what Chaos Insider Johnny Lazarus.
Oh,
Johnny
Johnny
Lazarus.
Lazarus is recommending people follow the Devils? What a horrible Rangers fan. Wow.
Johnny Laz has the answers. I will say if you're trying to get into hockey, follow Johnny Lazarus. He's a very educated, very bright,
Very handsome.
Never really played the game, but just like really understands the kind of ins and outs business wise. Just a very savvy mind, and is pretty serious. So like you're not going to get much goofiness or jokes from him, but he's going to give you what's what.
Yeah, he's also like a little problematic, but you don't have to. If you don't care about that, then by all means.
You can't do that. Not to Johnny with these fans who don't know any better.
And they'll probably like Johnny like probably has like not out of malice, but like ignorance, is probably has like some bad tweets. Sorry, Johnny.
No, John. I think that Johnny Lazarus has huge Travis Kelce zombie tweets energy, where they dig it up and he's like, "You guys ever cut the crust off your PB and J's?"
I'm hungry. Travis Scott. I'm hungry as fuck right now.
Yeah.
Just random ass tweets.
Oh, I love people in the chat are like, "All right, we will check out Johnny Lazarus. We love Johnny Lazarus. He's amazing." Yes, Ambassador Grease says he skates around with players and asks some questions. Does not skate very fast. I will note that. Doesn't he kind of moves slow?
Very slow.
Moving a bit elusive out there. Not very good stuff from him, but check out Johnny Lazarus. Thank you to everybody who helped mold this conversation. I think the answer is, though, that there is no wrong answer.
Well, you said before the show that there were wrong answers.
Yeah.
like I would say right now, like the Flames would be tough. But even them,
Ground floor.
they could get Gavin McKenna.
I would say it's the Vancouver Canucks. I want nothing to do with that right now.
Yeah,
You're signing
that
up
one
to
will be
lose your
tough
best
because
player.
anybody that you fall in love with is like
Probably
potentially on the way out the door.
Yeah, like-
very, very tough for Vancouver. But again, like there is an element of being a ground floor fan. And
Yeah,
like
but
if you sign up for Calgary and Vancouver right now and you ride it out, then like you fucking earned your stripes to celebrate the good times when they come in a few years.
Oh yeah, I will say it's cool if you pick the Canucks. Like I want to hang out with that person.
I think it's malpractice because like I still want people to like have fun to a certain extent. Like signing up to be a Canucks fan right now, like I don't think you're having any fun over the next 3 to 4 years.
Someone says Vegas is the only wrong answer. I would not say Vegas is a wrong answer. Vegas, you're going to put a target on your back.
Vegas is a little bandwagony. It's just like
It's a little bandwagon.
they've been good the entire time. A little problematic. It's a weird time to be signing up to be a Vegas Golden Knights fan.
Yeah, I will
that's for
say
damn
that.
Sure. And it's just like, regardless, like I feel like the A's are going to have this problem where it's going to feel like anything Vegas feels like a tourist trap. As much as I love like a lot of the players on the Golden Knights and I can appreciate how successful they've been, it's like, you're doing the team with all the glitz and glamour who didn't like it feels a little weird.
Someone says, how about the Blues? And I'm sorry we haven't named every team, but like Blues, if and when they get good again, fun. Great jerseys. Dylan Holloway.
Got good jerseys. Yeah, at least
Philip
have,
Broberg until he decides.
you've got a
I
player
do
who
love the
cries
comment that
sometimes.
says like it's before ground floor for the Canucks. You're currently in a free falling elevator before it hits the ground
You're
floor.
currently digging out the basement so you can pour
That
the
is
foundation.
true. That is true. Yeah.
All right. Well, we knew this would be a good conversation, but as I say for the billionth time, whatever team finds you, listen to your heart. Listen to the hockey gods. They will tell you which team is yours. And if we can help you at all on your journey, I don't know if we're the best help. We'll probably make you a little crazier as a hockey fan, but that's a fun experience to have as well. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to What Chaos here on YouTube. You will get everything, daily episodes, player interviews, and so much more. It's all here on the What Chaos YouTube. Hit subscribe.
It's a huge crest, but those are so good.
Amazing.
Like top 5 jersey in the NHL suddenly.
Is the crest too big?
Relax.
What?
Top 5. It's a good jersey.
Top five?
Relax.
We officially, as was expected on Pete Blackburn's birthday, have new Boston Bruins jerseys. And what is it? Meet the new boss, same as the old boss. Sean, give it to me. Oh, yeah. Those are A++++. That is a huge crest.
It's a huge crest, but those are so good.
Amazing.
Like top 5 jersey in the NHL suddenly.
Is the crest too big?
Relax.
What?
Top 5. It's a good jersey.
Top five?
Relax.
Name 5 jerseys better than that.
I did this to you. We did this recently.
Yes.
Off the show.
Detroit.
Yep. I'll accept that one.
Chicago.
Accepted.
Toronto.
I'd say Toronto. Montreal.
Montreal accepted.
Both.
I think the new Blues jerseys are better.
Oh, gross. L.A.
LA is up there.
L.A.
No.
LA is better than these for sure.
No.
Edmonton.
Yes. No, not Edmonton. I don't like Edmonton
You're such
jerseys.
a bitch about
It's all
ordering
subjective,
jerseys.
but I mean, these are beautiful.
They are good jerseys. I will
They're
say.
not perfect because need the meth bear on the shoulders. It's coward behavior that they went with the like very, very family friendly Bruins logo, and it's only on one shoulder, which I don't love. And they need gold socks. They're going all black head to toe again, which is fine. I would have loved to see gold socks. So these are very close to perfect, and they're what I've wanted for like a decade at this point. I'm very, very happy that they made the switch.
I did not know about because they're cut off there. I did not know that they are not going gold socks. I would have assumed they would have completed the set. So that bumps it down to an A for me, but still really, really, really good.
Really,
is the crest too big? Because it borders on Stadium Series.
No, I don't think it's too big because like the crest is the best part of that jersey. And
So why don't they make the whole thing out of the crest? They said.
I mean, they still got a Stadium Series jersey that they got to make this year.
Just
It can go
all
bigger.
spokes.
It can go bigger.
All spokes.
That's right. Enhanced, baby. No, what they're probably going to end up doing, right, is a gold version of this for the Stadium Series.
Gold with meth bear as the main would rock.
Yeah,
Because it's Stadium Series, so they're not going to just do this normal crest. They're
You
going to
can't do gold with meth bear though, because that just looks like a broken Pooh Bear jersey.
I mean, it is Pooh Bear. I don't think it's a bad thing.
Do
Who
have
cares?
to note, we saw a mock-up in the days leading up to this release in which David Pastrnak had the C on the jersey. With the reveal, can confirm David Pastrnak is not the Boston Bruins captain. Neither is Charlie McAvoy. They are both wearing A's in these promo images. That could change ahead of the season. I have a feeling that the Bruins are going to head into the season without a captain.
I do too, and I've thought about it, and I wonder if that reflects poorly on David Pastrnak and or Charlie McAvoy. That I agree that I don't think either of them are an easy call for captain. I remember when Patrice Bergeron retired, and people were very split on who the captain should be, and if you knew that room at all, extremely obvious it had to be Brad Marchand. And now he's gone. Is McAvoy like McAvoy? I saw as like the not quite ready, but could be one day. Pastrnak, I'm not in the room anymore, but from what I hear, is a vocal leader on that team. I don't know if they have an obvious captain right now.
I think that this year is a finding out year in a lot of different directions. So wouldn't be surprised if they didn't have a captain. Sean, do we also have the St. Louis Blues uniforms?
Yes, we do.
Because those kind of knocked my socks off.
So
Way
good.
more than I was expecting. I don't think that they have the ceiling that the Bruins uniform does, but I was not expecting the Blues uniforms to look this good.
Bruins jerseys are just black and yellow, man. They can only be so good.
I
These are
disagree with
so
that.
much better. These rock.
Sean is doing the most transparent overcorrection from calling Boston, quote, his city the other day.
That was not considering my line. I'm not
Group
walking that
texts were
back at all.
popping off.
I'm not walking that back at
People
all.
saying Sean has spokes in his heart. People were
That
saying
is not true. That part is not true.
People were saying it.
People were saying it. People say things all the time.
Do we have a look at the Blues numbers? Because I feel like that was the biggest talking point.
Yeah, people are
of
very
these.
controversial.
Yeah, the numbers are flat. There's no striping on the numbers here, which I really, really like because they're going for a classic look, and I feel like the flat numbers on these jerseys gives it more of a classic look. But really, my big takeaway is that the away uniform is the best of the bunch, obviously.
Oh, yeah,
here.
definitely.
The away uniform is unbelievable. And my other takeaway is that it's bad behavior to revert your previous primary to the third when you rebrand. I hate that they're using the old uniform as a third.
Yeah, people are going to just. I feel like a lot of people are just gonna like that now that it's a third.
I just don't
Because
like
like
those. I don't like the Navy. I wish they would just stay as far away from the Navy as possible.
I am relieved because there were teases or leaks of this, and it had the outline of the note filling in. You know how like at the top of the note, there's like a little stem and there's like a little crevice.
Mhm.
You know, the leaks had that filled in. And that looked so ugly and inconsistent to me. And these ones, it's uniform. No pun intended, which is nice. Yeah, high marks for these.
By far, the best part of it to me is the embracing the STL treble clef logo from the Winter Classic.
And credit to us. Credit to
Yes.
me and you, Sean,
Yes,
because we were all over
that.
this.
Yeah, because they didn't put it anywhere. Like it was on the helmet, and they didn't embrace that logo in any branding, anything like anywhere, and it blew my mind because it was
I don't
one
like
of
the
best alt logos.
I
I've
don't
seen.
like the STL treble clef. If you throw that back up, yeah, and
Crazy
hopefully
take, in
everybody's
my
watching
opinion.
on YouTube. There's a treble clef that is just like a flower kind of looking thing that I think is amazing. There is a horn that is like a river.
Who's asking?
That
for
is
this?
amazing.
Well, that's
I like both of those.
It's the Gateway Arch too.
it's a gateway arch, yeah.
Oh,
Like that's
gotcha.
a very cool logo.
Yeah.
But it's also like
But the
you don't need three
STL
alternate logos.
The STL one, I think, is fine. I think it's like a AI Photoshop generate.
Oh
thing.
no
That's a
way!
crazy-
That's
that's a
crazy.
crazy take.
That's a
Yeah.
crazy take.
AI could
And
never come up with
that.
something
I mean,
like
that's gonna look unbelievable on hats.
Yeah.
Oh, see, that's the
it's
thing. Like,
such a
I'm
good
gonna
logo.
see that. That's exactly what I was thinking. Like, I'm gonna see that on a hat, and I'm gonna be like,
I mean, it's gonna have like a baseball type cap.
Yeah, it's a
feel
great
to it.
alternate logo. I wouldn't like it
Yeah.
as a main logo, but it is a great alternate logo. I just see. I think St. Louis is such a like. I love a city that has a good kind of culture that like clear things that you can build off of for sports branding, and I think St. Louis is one of those. Like I love their flag is awesome. They have the arch and everything. I love that update in every way.
They also they have like their own font now that I think is unbelievable.
Thumbs
It's
up.
very musical, and that's a weird way to describe it, but it's very musical, and I think it looks so nice.
Is this
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, the one all the way on the right here, that's their new font, and it's on the back of it's on their nameplates, it's on their jersey numbers. It looks so good, and I sent you the picture of the back of the jerseys. But
Yeah, I love the blue that they leaned into. Like that light blue is so good.
Agreed.
And just like I think you mentioned it, it's kind of like when the Minnesota Vikings updated their logo a few years ago, and it was like, if you asked me what was different, I couldn't tell you, but it is, and it's better.
Mhm.
And that's what I think they did with this logo.
I agree. Yep.
We all silly like the mayor.